Hello, friends, and welcome back to TJKidz Super Fun Stories, where imagination becomes reality. Today's adventure is a special one. Hoppy the three-legged horse. Now, this is a fantasy story meant to be inspirational. In real life, horses with serious leg injuries need lots of care from trained professionals, and running can be difficult for them. But in our story, Hoppy is a truly extraordinary horse who can do things that most horses can't. Let's find out how special Hoppy really is. So grab a comfy spot, get cozy, and join me for this adventure. Hoppy the three-legged horse. Grayson lived in the beautiful countryside where horses weren't just animals, they were part of everyday life. Rolling fields stretched for miles, lined with barns, pastures, and long wooden fences. It wasn't far from the city, but far enough that people knew it as Horse Town, and Grayson loved every bit of it. At 9 years old, Grayson spent nearly all of his free time at equestrian camp. There, he learned everything about riding and caring for horses. He learned to canter, to jump, to groom, and how to ride with confidence. His prosthetic leg never slowed him down. If anything, it made him even more determined. His parents were proud, but cautious. Ever since the accident when he was very young, they worried more than they used to. Grayson didn't fully understand their worry. He just knew it made him feel held back. One afternoon after camp, Grayson asked his parents if he could get a horse of his own. "Oh, I don't think you're ready for that yet," his mom replied. "Owning your own horse is a big challenge. We need to know you're strong enough." "But I'm ready," Grayson pleaded. And before either parent could respond, he sprinted across the yard as fast as he could. "See?" he called out. "I'm faster than everyone in my class. I can do anything the other kids can do." His parents looked at one another and then turned to Grayson. "You sure are fast," his dad said. "We'll see. Okay, bud?" Weeks passed, and Grayson kept perfecting his riding skills, staying after camp to groom horses, clean the stables, and help with anything the instructors needed. He dreamed of having a horse of his own, someone he could bond with, train with, and grow up alongside. He talked about it constantly, but his parents always said the same thing: maybe someday. Then, on the morning of his 10th birthday, his parents woke him up early. "Where are we even going?" he asked as they drove down a long gravel road. "It's a surprise," his mom said. When they pulled into Duke's horse farm, Grayson could barely contain his excitement. "Wait, I don't ride today, do I?" he said. "What are we doing here?" His dad smiled. "Happy birthday, bud. Your mother and I have agreed to buy you a horse of your very own. You've shown us that you're ready." Grayson couldn't speak at first, the excitement hitting him all at once. Then he burst out, "I can pick out my own horse? Best birthday ever!" Inside the barn, Duke showed them several beautiful horses. "This one here is a fine horse," he said, patting a tall chestnut mare. "She's strong and steady, great for beginners." But Grayson was barely paying attention. Something in the back of the barn caught his eye. A young horse moved differently from the rest. She wasn't walking, she was hopping. 3 legs touched the ground, and one was missing entirely. What about her? Grayson asked. Oh, that's Hoppy, Duke responded. She only has 3 legs. She mostly hops to get around. That's why we named her Hoppy. You don't want her. She needs a lot of care and work. And you can't ever ride her. What happened to her? Grayson asked. She had an accident, Duke said. Long story. But she'll never be a normal horse again. Grayson walked toward her stall. Hey, girl, he said softly. Hoppy lifted her head, her ears perked forward. Then Grayson reached down, unlatched his prosthetic leg, and held it out so she could see. Hoppy stepped closer, lowered her head, and sniffed the prosthetic. Then she looked into Grayson's eyes and nudged him gently, pressing her forehead against his shoulder. They bonded the moment they met. His parents tried to talk him out of it. Duke tried too, but Grayson had made up his mind. I want Hoppy, he said. I don't care if I can ride her. I don't care if she's a lot of work. Duke thought for a moment. Well, you'll be taking a lot of work off my hands. If you really want her that bad, she's yours. No charge. So Duke loaded Hoppy into the horse trailer, brought her over to Grayson's house, and helped the family get her settled into the paddock behind the house. Grayson stayed with her for hours, brushing her coat, talking to her, and showing her his prosthetic. We're going to get one of these for you, he told her. Watch what I can do. He strapped his prosthetic back on and ran across the gated pasture. Hoppy watched him closely, her eyes following every step. The next morning, when Grayson came outside, Hoppy spotted him from across the field. Without hesitation, she took off, running on 3 legs, faster than he had ever seen her move. She reached him in seconds. Whoa, Grayson said. You're pretty fast, but I don't think you're supposed to be doing that, girl. Then Hoppy took off running again, circling the field, then stopping to look at him as if she was seeking his approval. Grayson laughed, and then he joined her. They ran side by side, both of them moving with determination and joy. The next day, the same thing happened, and then it kept happening, day after day. No matter what Grayson did, he could not stop Hoppy from running. One morning, Grayson's mom stepped outside and saw them. Honey, what are you doing? She shouted out. She shouldn't be running. I know, Grayson replied, but I can't stop her. Look how fast she is. Grayson and Hoppy sprinted across the field. His dad stepped out to see what all the noise was about. How does she even do that? He said. It shouldn't be possible. His mom looked at his dad. We need to call Buddy, the prosthetic specialist, today. Buddy showed up a few days later. He examined Hoppy carefully, watching her balance, her stride, and her determination. She's incredible, Buddy said, but she needs a specialized weight-balanced prosthetic so she can distribute her weight safely, especially if you can't stop her from running. A few weeks passed. Then Buddy returned with a custom prosthetic, a smooth, curved design with a special weight distribution harness that wrapped gently over her backside. When they fitted it onto Hoppy, she tried to kick it off. Grayson calmly placed his hand on her neck and showed her his own prosthetic. See, girl, he said, you're just like me now. It's okay. Hoppy calmed. Grayson had a special way of making her feel safe. Over the next few weeks, Hoppy learned to walk with it, then trot, then move comfortably. One morning, Grayson stepped outside and saw her walking smoothly across the field. The moment she spotted him, she ran. She ran fast, faster than ever. She ran so far he could barely see her. Then she turned around and raced back, stopping right in front of him. "You're doing it," Grayson said. "Good girl." Word spread quickly about the three-legged horse that can run. Neighbors came just to see her run, shaking their heads like they couldn't believe their eyes. One day, Mr. Larson, a retired prize horse trainer, stopped by. He watched Hoppy run for a while. "I tell you, I've never seen anything like that in my life. She's not just fast, she's a phenomenon." "A phenomenon what?" Grayson asked. "It means she's special," Mr. Larson said. "Very special." He peered into Hoppy's eyes. "She runs because she's determined," he said. "How do you know that?" Grayson asked. "I can see it in her eyes," he said. Then he looked at Grayson. "And I see that same determined look in yours." He turned to Grayson's parents. "If she wants to run, who are we to stop her? If you want, I could get her into some regional races. Seems like she'd be up for it." His parents hesitated. "We're lucky she's doing well at all," said Mom. "Ma'am, I understand," Mr. Larson responded. "That horse shouldn't even be alive or walking, especially not running. But I'm telling you, there's something different in her. I don't know if it's magic or destiny, but that horse was born to run." After a few days of discussions, the family agreed to give it a try. Hoppy entered a few small races. She won every single race with ease. She was a natural. Soon, the crowds grew bigger and bigger as more people wanted to see it with their own eyes. Reporters wrote stories. People argued online, some saying it was impossible, others saying it was inspiring. Months had passed, and Hoppy entered more and more races. She won so many that people across the country started talking about her, the three-legged horse who refused to slow down. Soon, she wasn't just a local wonder. She was gaining national attention. One afternoon, a racing official visited the family with an unbelievable offer. Hoppy could enter the qualifying races for the Kentucky Derby. The family met with an experienced jockey who believed in her instantly. Still, they were nervous. Could she really qualify for the big show? The Kentucky Derby? Mr. Larson didn't hesitate. "She can do it," he said. "She's got more heart than any horse I've ever trained." His confidence won them over. And so began many long months of training, early mornings, long runs, and endless determination. Eventually, after all the work, all the races, and all the heart she poured into every step, Hoppy qualified for the Kentucky Derby. On the morning of the race, Grayson pressed his forehead against hers. "I'm so proud of you, girl. You inspire me every day. I don't care how you do in this race. Just be careful and have fun." The race began. The bell rang and the horses shot out of their gates. Hoppy started off slow, trailing behind the pack. The crowd whispered to one another. Commentators doubted her. It looks like Hoppy's off to a disappointing start. Maybe she wasn't ready for the big show." Then she began picking up speed. She wasn't slowing down. She was speeding up. She passed one horse, then another, and then another. Around the final turn, she took the lead. The stadium erupted with cheers. "Hoppy, Hoppy, Hoppy." Then the unthinkable happened. With the finish line in sight, Hoppy's prosthetic leg popped off. Two horses flew past her. The jockey nearly fell but held on tight. The entire stadium went silent for a moment. Grayson's parents covered their eyes. Then Grayson stood and yelled with everything inside him, "I believe in you, Hoppy!" It was as if Hoppy heard him. She suddenly remembered how she ran before she ever had a prosthetic. She adjusted her stride, recalibrated her balance, and kept going. On 3 legs. She surged forward. She passed one horse. Then she crossed the finish line, one nose in front of the other horse. Hoppy had just won the Kentucky Derby. The crowd exploded with cheers. People cried. The jockey hugged her neck. Grayson ran to her, wrapping his arms around her as the cameras flashed. After the Derby, the family agreed. No more races, no more pressure. Hoppy retired from racing and spent her days running freely around the farm, exactly where she belonged. One afternoon, Grayson stood beside her in the pasture. "You've inspired me, Hoppy," he said. "I'm going to try out for the track team. Who knows? Maybe I'll be in the Olympics one day." Hoppy nudged him gently, as if to say she believed in him too. The end. And that's the end of our story, friends. What an incredible journey. Grayson found Hoppy when everyone else overlooked her. He helped her learn to run again, watched her perform miracle after miracle. Then she did the impossible and won the Kentucky Derby. And that leads me to a moral I learned from today's story. Sometimes the things that make us different are the very things that make us strong. With courage, determination, and support of people who believe in us, we can achieve things that seem impossible. And just a quick reminder, this story is a fantasy. In real life, horses with serious injuries need special care, and running can be very hard on their bodies. Always listen to veterinarians, trainers, and professionals who know how to keep animals safe and healthy. Well, that's it for today, friends. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one. Toodles!